These people are so crazy. Okay, there we go. We're good to go. Okay, ready?
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, I'm gonna start recording now. Oh no, I already started.
Yes, you know what it says recording at the top? That means you're recording.
Well, I'm new at this.
How many
Please.
videos have you done?
A lot.
Jesus.
A lot. I'm still new.
Special
Okay,
K, how are you?
welcome back,
Special K.
Mark.
Yeah.
My favorite guy. So tell me how it's going.
Well, I actually have some intel.
Ooh,
which I can't believe this. I just got sent this. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
So this, everybody's going a bit nuts, but somebody sent me this document earlier, which is an executive order that Trump signed in secret. Just before, I think it was in the first week of January.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
Yep.
It's called the executive order, the really, really, really tight shoes strategy, top secret.
Okay.
Overview. 1, pretend Joe Biden is president for a bit. 2, really depress the shit out of everyone. 3, tell everyone he's not really the president. 4, the result, pure ecstasy, like taking off a pair of really, really, really tight shoes.
That Trump, he's smart, right?
He worked it out. It's genius. How good is that going to feel taking those shoes off?
Oh, it's going to feel great.
Oh?
It's going to feel great.
The Biden shoes are gone.
That's exactly what it is. That is what's going on. Because let me tell you something. Executive orders are so off the rails.
Oh, they're brilliant. It's like a comedy show.
It is.
I mean, it's really hard, right? Because on one hand, people are really depressed and there's loads of, people, there's real damage going on. It's psychological.
Right, true. Yeah.
On the other hand, when you know what's going on, it's hilarious.
Yes, I know. And there's some people gloating out there because, and I look at them and I just think, okay, just you keep gloating. You keep gloating until the boomerang hits.
Yeah, I got a call off a mate the other day, and we fell out last year because he said, Trump's a criminal, you blah, blah, blah. And I was like, right, I'm going to have to delete you now from Facebook. So I deleted him. And he's, we do business together. He's still a friend, sort of. We don't mention the war. It's like, don't mention the war. You remember that episode of Fawlty Towers?
Right.
Because they have the Germans in. He says, whatever you do, don't mention the war.
Right,
it's like that, right?
Exactly.
So he called me the other day and he was very, very smug. Well, at least your man's not in prison. That's some sort of result for you. And I was like this.
I know.
Just gotta hold it in.
I get it too, Yeah, but at this point, it's just become such a show. Yesterday, he allows China back into our grid. Like he's doing crazy things that are so dangerous. And then they want to pass this. It's so funny. I don't know if you saw this yet, this HR1 bill that they want to push through about elections. It's basically the playbook that they use to cheat on this election, making it legal to cheat in the future. It is so off the rails. Oh. I can't even imagine that people all over this country, like you said, what's going on right now, I'm assuming for anyone paying attention, is serious buyer's remorse. If they
that's the good thing. I'm seeing videos and stuff of people saying, "Oh my God, I'm so regretting that I voted for Biden."
Right.
And that's what this is all about, right? It's got to be. Exactly. That's what it is. Because what were the alternatives, right? Yeah, Trump comes in and says, right, they're all pedophiles. They work for China. They're all scumbags, right? All those Trump haters would have just hated him even more and doubled down because that's how this psychological brainwashing works. You double down on everything. It's like when all the Star Wars fans moaned about the Star Wars films, Disney just doubled down on the whole thing.
Right.
It's like when they made Doctor Who into a woman and people moaned about it, the BBC just doubled down on it. It's just, that's what they do, right? So the way the brainwashing works is that they just double down on it. So that would never work. So the genius of just removing him and then showing this comedy show. I mean, it is a comedy show. He's signing blank pieces of paper.
Right, and saying out
loud. There's a car park behind him. The wallpaper's changed. Did you see that video of him the other day where he was just stood there and his face was blank? It was like black eyes, and it was, what was that? Is he a robot? What's going on?
And I don't know. He's like being controlled, obviously. He's saying
like this.
Yeah, exactly. He's saying as he's writing, I don't know what I'm signing. And he's saying it out loud.
No. So I feel a bit hysterical, to be honest.
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, popcorn. It's popcorn.
I know.
He was right. Just sit back and just.
I know.
It's mad.
I know.
Mad.
I know. And then Trump puts in the office of the former president. All their heads exploded. Like,
Yeah.
How dare he? We're about to remove him from history forever. Here's the beauty part about these ridiculous the impeachment and the Dominion lawsuit against Rudy and Sidney Powell and all of that. These people are so dumb. They get discovery. Okay, so the mainstream media doesn't want to cover any of the truth. They're playing this game, but if they kick into impeachment, then they're going to have to cover the truth because Trump and his team get discovery. Again, also same thing with Dominion. They know that the executive order was put through. They know about all the cheating. So Dominion, again, who has unlimited money because of China and that Moloch Brown, Soros, all that, they're just doing this, but it's going to backfire.
I mean, all the clues are there. Dominion, right? Dominion. We want Dominion. It's like being in a movie, right? Moloch Brown, that motherfucker. And that Moloch. His name's Moloch. That's the big owl they worship in Bohemian Grove. What? I mean, who's writing this? God, are you writing this?
Yes.
He is funny. God is funny, right? He is piss funny, right? I love him. I mean, we wouldn't be. You got to laugh.
I know.
You got to laugh because what else are you going to do?
Right, I know. Also, Biden makes a speech yesterday. All his things he's talking about with this, racial and equity and all this. It's like this is not Biden that was in office for 47 years. If you paid attention, this is a totally different whatever he is. And he's saying that America is morally depraved. I'm thinking, look in the mirror.
Yeah. Hello, Biden family. Hello. Yeah, I've seen Hunter's laptop.
Me too.
Oh, did you see that one about Hunter being made the head of the DEA?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That'll probably help.
Really good. Well, he knows more about drugs than anybody else.
I know.
He knows where it's all hidden. He knows all the dealers. Perfect. Brilliant idea.
Well, yeah. I was thinking about him being the ambassador of China, but I hear Biden's putting the head of Disney as the ambassador to China. If you
I don't think he's perverted enough to be the head of Disney. No. He's not. He's
No.
going to be seriously depraved. I mean, putting penises in Mickey Mouse. What the fuck? You know?
I know. Oh, and then Disney a couple days ago pulled Peter Pan and Dumbo because they're racist. So.
Are they? Are they?
Yeah,
what are they racist against small elephants with big ears?
I don't know. They just Disney decided to pull them from their streaming service.
Well, that's fair enough. Do you know I've been one of my boys? He's like obsessed with The Mandalorian. Right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep cool here, right? Because I know Star Wars got taken over by Disney and it went all fucking tits up. So I sit down and watch it with him, and I'm looking at it, going, right, where's the Satanism? Where's the weird? And then it dawned on me, that series makes mask wearing cool. They're all in masks. You can't see the guy's face.
Another one.
Oh.
And the masks are just to dehumanize.
Yeah.
Another thing I've been thinking about is because I saw some D-class about the bioweapon that was SARS.
Was that John Rappaport?
I saw his. His too.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah,
but now look at what's happened since the election. So the WHO comes out and says the PCR test is false positives and fake. CDC comes out and says that the numbers were greatly exaggerated. Then the American Medical Association comes out and says hydrochloroquine works and isn't dangerous.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, because Trump didn't say it. We can say it now.
Right. Also, days after the election, Pfizer approves they have the cure. They have the vaccine. Yesterday, Merck comes out, who hasn't really been in the mix, and says they're not going to develop a vaccine because their research says that to get the virus and let it run and heal it over the counter or whatever is much better for the immune system. And then California, Illinois, Virginia, and Michigan are all going to open. So was this about a virus or was this about an election?
Well, you know, I think we know the answer to that, don't we?
I know, but most people don't. We're not saying that there wasn't a virus. There was. It was created in the Wuhan lab, which Obama, Fauci, and Gates all visited coincidentally, and gave millions of dollars to. And we know about Event 201, Project Lockstep. This was all part of the plan. But people are still, you know, just not putting the dots together with it. And yesterday they said that Johns Hopkins even said that it's going to evolve into a very bad cold. Yeah, that's because that's what it was.
Well, that's what I think it is. I think maybe there was a killer virus, but this virus, whatever it is not a killer virus, right? It's not.
Right.
And like I said on our last show, flu has disappeared, and now it's been replaced with cases of COVID.
Right. Right.
Well, you know, I've had a case of COVID for 10 years. I mean, if you go back into 1980s medical literature, you'll see, go back decades, coronavirus is defined as the cold. That's what it is.
And COVID really stands for certification of vaccine identification. So there's that too.
Did I tell you about my brother? Yeah, I think, right. So this is the sad part of it, right?
Right.
So my mum, she's 70 tomorrow. God bless her.
Right. Oh, God bless her.
She was a young mother, obviously. And she ran me the other day and she said she went round to my brother's, who lives near her in England, to give one of her grandsons a birthday present. He wouldn't even open the door. He wouldn't even open the front door to his own mother. And he wouldn't let her post it. And she was stood outside with a mask and a visor. And he was too scared to even let her post it through the letterbox. This is the heavy part of it. And that's why Q team, Donald, if you're listening, can you end this soon, please?
I know. It's such a crime against humanity. The psychological and emotional and you know, cognitive dissonance on this mass scale is so disturbing at this point. But what I did hear yesterday from somebody that seems to really be on the ball is that the military is waiting for this to play out till there's not by polls and CNN and these liars, but till the military intel feels that 70% of the American people would be supportive of the military coming in and removing the traitors and Biden, et cetera, that until then they don't want to make their move. So that's why every day that this is dripping out and we're connecting the dots and all of that, and we keep putting it out there, even if they keep trying to silence us, the better, because this is when we can't stop. Because as soon as the military feels that they'll get majority support in America, we'll see some moves. Also, General Flynn's brother was just put as the head of the Pacific, and he's going to be based out of Hawaii, running the army there. So, you know, that's interesting, since we haven't heard from Flynn yet. His brother somehow passed through, which wouldn't have happened if Biden was in charge of the military. So that's another.
Oh no, this is all good. There's no way Biden's in charge of fuck all. Nothing. Now I've got my 10-year-olds in charge of more shit than Joe Biden.
Right, totally. And we have Canada's pissed off about the Keystone Pipeline. Russia's pissed off because they say that the riots there the other day were facilitated by the American embassy in Moscow, being run by Biden's folk. And you know, China's even getting mad at him. And you know, it's obviously Israel, but the Iranian people are pissed. You know, the Chinese people are pissed. And you know, how much more can
I know. Well, I got
what damage can you do in a week?
I mean, I think Biden's presidency is the 10 days of darkness.
So do I.
Possibly.
I've been saying the same thing.
Well, I got a message. I was speaking to Charlie yesterday. By the way, have you actually got his book? It's really good.
Yeah.
We're in it.
I know we are.
Available at Amazon. Sorry about that. There was nobody else that could do it globally.
Everyone should get it.
We had to think hard about that, but it is on Amazon. But I think Amazon's going to get taken over by the good guys. So, well, you know, it is what it is.
Well, there was a big blackout yesterday. Amazon, Verizon, from Virginia to Massachusetts for about 45 minutes. Amazon went down. Verizon went down. A couple other big ones went down. That's as we're seeing these happening. I believe that the Space Force is reconfiguring this stuff. And, you know, which is a good thing. Amazon needs to be held accountable for major crimes on many levels.
Absolutely. All of those online retailers are all part of Charlie. I'm going to talk about it in a second, but Charlie said to me yesterday that he'd heard that Saturday was a big day. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then I got JC in Australia, JCK, she said she predicted this Saturday, and she sent me a message. Well, it's 3 days time, and I was like, because she's a major psychic, and I was like, yeah. And even my son goes, it feels really, it's like a ghost town here. It's like, it's like everything's in limbo. I don't know, it's like in New York, but here it's just very foggy, very quiet. The energy is really, really interesting. And since I saw you, since we last spoke, I did an 11-hour Zoom call on Friday night with the guys that I make the Abracadabra Code with, which is a series about the nature of reality and how the universe was created, with a guy called Huna Flash. Huna Flash is a Maori shaman who, if you look him up, you can see him teleporting on video. The guy's unreal, right?
Right. I saw your post about it. Seems fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. And from that conversation, I got told that we're now that because this is a multidimensional plane that we exist in, with all these timelines flipping, Mandela effects and everything else. The reality is not what we think it is at all. That's what the Matrix is. The lifting of the veil is all about us then starting to see that. So that's why I still believe that this whole plan, however absurd it might seem right now to people like us, but however real it seems to people that are trapped in the Matrix, it's all been about reducing collateral damage. Right. And I think that this really has been, however crazy it seems, and however many people have died unnecessarily in care homes, and however many people have died in riots and things like that, the amount of people that have died is tiny compared to what would have died if they'd done the military coup option, or if they just told everybody the truth at the beginning, because they're unlocking not only the Matrix around us, but the Matrix in our minds.
Right.
And when people, if you preach to people, what do? They double down, and then you got conflict, right. And the conflict equals death. So I'm really grateful because God's plan makes sense, and I know the outcome. So I feel really, really happy about that. But I wanted today to, I know I started with a bit of a joke and everything, but I was wondering if I could play a poem that reminds us of what we're up against.
Of course. Your poems are my favorite thing.
Well, that's great. My YouTube channel. Good. My YouTube channel. I'm blocked for 3 months. First strike, 3 months.
I got one strike a week.
I thought it was a week, and then I logged in the other day, ready to upload, thinking it's been a week, and it said 19th of April. I was like, what? They completely locked me out, which is hilarious. But there you go. And that was because I wrote a poem called "Wake the Up," right? And I said there's no virus, and I said Biden's not really the president. But anyway, I don't know why that upset them. I really don't get it. But
because it's the truth.
This one, I don't know if you've seen this one, but I wrote this last year, and this is because I've known about satanic paedophilia for over 15 years, and I've met people, I've spoken to victims, all of that. I know this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I want to share. I'm going to share. It's a bit heavy, but I'm going to share.
No, it's okay. Me too, and I want to get into that too after.
All right, here we go.
We see you. The scales have fallen from our eyes. The veil has drifted down from the sky, meandering firmly, finally revealing your depth of depravity. That's fear you're now feeling. We see you. Your demonic bloodlust laid bare to see, the statue of filth on the BBC, the prince and the madam, the Crispus spy, the islands of horrors in the ocean lie. We see you. 1 billion souls stolen over the years. You hid them deep down to drown their tears. Perfect and innocent, God's own creations, mutilated by your sick machinations. We see you. Vlad the Impaler and his vile descendants, fleeing the palace from the 5D ascendants. The virus distracted, but gave us the time to peel back the layers of your heinous crimes. We see you. Run, run as fast as you can. back for more orders from the Phoenician clan. Out of White Rabbit, the looking glass cracked. Tipping point reached, odds against you now stacked. We see you. Pizza and hot dogs, pasta and sauce. Your sickness decoded your lack of remorse. Our slumber is over, our eyes not wide shut. For the children of Haiti, a knife to your gut. We see you. Ascension is powered by the light of the flare. Scramble like rats to the ruins of your lairs. It's over, it's over. Save our children, we cry. Revealed, reviled. It's your soul's time to die. We see you.
Awesome. Wow. Well, I was going to say to you, because people have forgotten, and it's coming back. I've been saying for a long time, the Epstein boomerang is coming back. Yesterday, a very, very, very big fish in the Epstein case stepped down from his own company. That would be Leon Black, also a big guy in the art movement and modern art and Marina Abramovich world, and many other things to connect. So what people are forgetting is that what you just did and what I wanted to kind of get to today, which is the crimes of Epstein are so overreaching and so vast and on so many different levels, from the money laundering and all of that to the children and everything that's happened in between. And yesterday, Ghislaine Maxwell tried to get her case dismissed and the judge laughed at them. And, it's getting to a point where that's coming back, and because they got enough people put away right now that are involved. And I was going to point out who wasn't at the inauguration, who are very big wigs in the Democratic Party, including John Podesta and Adam Schiff, and a lot of the people that we know have been involved in this stuff. Also, the Standard Hotel is closing.
Yes,
so
good.
A lot of this stuff is coming.
Did you see is it Sweet and Low, the CEO of that?
Yeah.
88 committed suicide.
Right. And he lived on this about a block from Epstein, certainly. We're going to see a lot of that.
By the way, anybody watching this is like, whatever you do, look at the ingredients on your drinks. If it's got sweet and low aspartame in it, do not drink it. These guys, Donald Rumsfeld got aspartame passed through the FDA. It took 7 attempts in the 1970s. Aspartame is actually the genetically modified feces of the E. coli bacteria, which was developed as a chemical weapon in the 1960s. It's in all your diet sodas. It's in all of your supplements. It's in your aspirin. It's in all your pharmaceuticals. Donald Rumsfeld killed more people with that than he did as defense secretary with George Bush. Stop drinking diet drinks. So I'm glad that mother has killed himself. Right. Because although no justice for him.
No justice.
Well,
same with right. Stephen Bing too. No justice.
Yeah, he was the film producer, wasn't he? With
big film producer, but also one of the founders of the Clinton Foundation with Epstein and Clinton, and a Epstein Island regular, which means he was all the island regulars. And that's all you need to know is it's coming. And that's really, I believe, what most of this is about.
Of course, this is all about that. And this is why I very specifically in that poem said islands and not island.
Right.
Because, I go way back with this, even down to Jersey and the Channel Islands in the UK.
Right.
So the Channel Islands, right, where I dislocated this finger back in 1987, sailing across the English Channel on Guernsey, right? There was an amazing, I don't know, people say he's disinfo, but I really related to him. I'm trying to remember his name, but there was a film called Sun, Sea and Satanism, which was Pie and Mash Films. And it was this guy who I've not seen, Bill Maloney, that was his name. And he made this film going down to Jersey and Guernsey, because those islands are all owned by the Queen. Right. And on those islands, he went and filmed, there's this place called the Haute de la Garenne, which was a children's home.
Oh,
And the
God.
Jersey police were investigating it, and they found the bones of dismembered children underneath this place, thousands of them. And then the whole thing got closed down. The guy investigating got taken out. So this guy Bill Maloney went to see. I think this film's still up on YouTube, and it's worth anybody going to have a look at it. And he's walking through the woods in Jersey and filming this giant statue of Satan. Right in the gardens of people's houses, there are demons giving and little instead of gnomes, they've got demons in the garden, and they've got kids giving blowjobs to gnomes and stuff like that. And it's just like, this was when it really dawned on me years and years ago how deep this shit goes. I mean, I used to go to a restaurant in Hampshire. Hampshire is where a lot of sailing goes on the coast, and this is where Ted Heath, the ex-prime minister of the UK, the guy that forced the UK into the EU. The UK never actually went into the EU. It was totalitarian tiptoes.
Right, that's what they're trying to do here. Right,
precisely. Right, and I used to go to a restaurant which he frequented, and he went there every week, and he always had 2 MI6 guys, and usually had a 14-year-old boy with him. And if people don't know about Ted Heath, the Prime Minister of Britain,
right,
he used to he had this ship, this yacht called I think it was called Morning Cloud, but the security guys used to call it Morning Nightmare, because he'd take boys. So Jimmy Savile would go and get kids from all over the children's homes and blah blah blah, bring them down, take them through the Council of Islington, which was Harriet Harman was a councillor there. She was on the board of the Paedophile Information Exchange, PI, in the 70s, which was all about lowering the age of consent, continuously lowering the age of consent, and making paedophilia not an illness, but just a preference.
right.
And this has been going on the UK is so satanic, it's unreal. And mind you, the whole world is. And then the kids would go on the boat, and Ted Heath, he would use this metal hooked claw, right? And this is why David Icke outed him, because he had so many people come to him who didn't know each other, who all mentioned this metal hook. What the hell was that about? And when he'd finished with them, he'd just throw them overboard.
Right.
And this is a prime minister when I was a baby. This is why I'm not having it. We're not having it. This truther movement is nothing to do with right wing, left wing, this religion, that religion. Nothing to do with it. It's to do with the fact that these are monsters that have been running this world for so long, stealing not only the children, but stealing all of your labor, all of your money, all this beautiful planet that we should be living on. They stole it from you. Wake up. Because this is what it's about.
Right.
Well,
his daughter his daughter was photographed at Epstein's house multiple times. Or was that his granddaughter, Heath?
Oh no, he never had any children.
So whoever she was, Hillary Heath, she's not related?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Okay, I thought that she was related to that family. I don't know, but I do know that this Epstein thing is coming back, and as much as Netflix, which is an arm of the same liberal, progressive, democratic machine, they tried to whitewash it. So people that
documentary they did. Just unreal. It's the same as the Prince Andrew interview. I mean, if you watch that interview, how did he think that was going to work? But I'm confused about the Prince Andrew thing, because he looked completely stupid in that, yet the BBC published it.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is that he apparently is very stupid.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
Because he's terrible at lying, and he's terrible at covering his crimes. He never even thought he would have to. But also his answers were so off the charts.
Oh, they were just so detached from reality. I was watching The Hobbit Part 2 last night.
Oh, wow.
Stephen Fry plays the sort of the master of this town which the dragon comes and he's such a fucking idiot, right? And he'll do anything to get whatever, just to keep his drinking and his obviously perversions going. And it was perfect, the perfect description of the royal family in the UK.
Right.
And the sniveling wretches that wave their flags at them, and it breaks my heart, because I grew up in the 70s in England, and I remember the Queen's 25th anniversary in 1977, and we were all so proud, and I was like 7, 8 years old, just like, what is this? It's so exciting, I got a silver coin with the Queen's head on, I got a little mug with her face on, and there's all this bunting out and people making cakes and playing cricket, and it was so English and wonderful on the one hand, but my God, what was it hiding? Just unbelievable. Loads of my family, would go to the They have this thing in the UK called the Proms, which is all about celebrating being British. So they use this pride, they use national pride to hide their true thing, right? And now they're using national pride against you, right? Whereas, you know, because now you're a patriot and you're a right wing, you're a racist, you're a blah 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 blah. And it's just nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, but that thing that you said interesting about the skulls, you know, there was when they dug up the Vatican last I think it was 2 years ago, they dug up a lot of ground in the Vatican, found tons of skulls. There were also tons of skulls, I'm told, found on Epstein Island. So probably all of these islands. And then, you know,
all of the islands. This is the thing. There's a place here called Tuam. I don't know if you're Irish and I pronounced that wrong, I do apologize. But there was like all these nunneries, right? And the emails I'm getting from people telling me horror stories about the nuns and the treatment. It was much, much worse. That if you've seen the film Philomena with Steve Coogan and Judi Dench, which is actually a very good film, but it doesn't go anywhere near the truth. And I think, you know, all of Hollywood, as we know, is whitewashing all the time. They found 800 dismembered babies' bodies there. 800.
Right.
In one
that's
place.
and
that started appearing on the front covers of the papers in the last week again.
Right. Oh, yeah. In Ireland, I saw that 9,000 victims, they said.
Yeah.
And that's coming out. And then, you know, the Dutch, all the people in the Dutch parliament or whatever resigned, saying that there was an issue with CPS, which is code word for what we're talking about.
Well, Queen Beatrix, she resigned, didn't she, a couple of years ago?
I think she's done a lot more than resign.
But she was like running the human hunting parties and all of that stuff.
Exactly.
All across Europe. That's why I put in the poem I played last week, a Black Forest pie, because the Black Forest was one of the places to be taken out.
I know.
You know, thank God, because that was a major Rothschild center with tunnels underneath, and all the kids would be hidden in there. And then you look back in time, you look back at Hans Christian Andersen and the brothers Grimm. Oh, it's all there.
Right. Disney too. Disney, so many
that's
Disney.
That's why they make movies using that material, because it's all there. This goes back thousands of years.
Well, that's part of their thing. They tell us. And so I think that this also, like you brought up in that Haiti. So that's why I'm saying the bigger picture here, I think, is that we have so much evidence of their crimes, and their crimes are not forgivable. They're not.
No.
And, you know, you look at it from up there and, you know, from above, and you see we have Haiti. We have all the islands. There's about 12 or 15 that are all connected. You know, Branson has one. Turns out Biden had one.
Yep.
Nygaard, all these people, it's going to come out. Johnny Depp, this guy, that guy. They're all connected. They all also go by the port that the Clintons built in Haiti. Yep. The Clintons did nothing in Haiti but build a port and a hotel.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
With all that money. And that's the port. And then they stop in Costa Rica and here and there. And then that Disney ship that stops at Epstein Island. I wonder how many kids mysteriously drowned or died on that cruise. And it's just getting to a point where people are going to have to start to disclose this stuff.
They're going to have to. And there's one thing that's going to unite everybody is the children.
I agree 100%.
And that, it's a terrible, terrible thing to go through facing up to it. And the reason they got away with it for so long is because no human being with a soul can imagine anybody could even do that stuff. I wondered years ago why I was able to look at this stuff and compartmentalize it so I could keep digging, because
me too.
Because I'm a very emotional, soulful person, but I don't know how I've managed to cope. But other people I've had people put their fingers in the ears and go la 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 la.
Oh, me too.
They literally don't want to know.
People just cannot believe it. They cannot believe it. But then it's to not understand that these people, they truly believe that they are a spawn of Satan. They believe that they are from a bloodline that comes from. I know, and it doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what you think or I think. It's that they think that. And if they think that, they can justify anything, and they do. Right. And
I never ever advocated for the death penalty, right? I always believed, I left the military because I didn't want to kill anybody. I didn't think that anybody's life was ever worth taking. But these guys, these things, they've got to go. And, and I think the biggest, I've read a lot of stuff about one of the problems they've got is the guys behind the back channel and the good guys, whatever you want to call them, they are aware this is a spiritual war. They are aware of us being multidimensional beings, and one of the biggest problems they've got is how do you stop these entities coming back?
Right.
Because, you know, if you look at the Queen Mother, for example, I remember reading a testimony of somebody who saw her turn into this horrible demon.
Right.
And, you know, and that demon just keeps coming back through different bodies, you know, through human bodies or whatever. And it's been here for millions of years, you know, and that's the biggest problem. How do you, you know, I believe that I heard that the Queen was executed in, you know, in somewhere in the ice. And they had to behead her or something. And, you know, I don't know if any of this is true because I've not seen it, but this is, I do read good sources. And
me too.
The biggest problem is where do you put the souls? Where do you put these entities? It's not just about the physical person dying. But I hope they've got to
expose it all to light. You know, you got to expose it all. This is why this can't go under the. This can't be brushed under the covers. It will never go away. It needs to be exposed fully and publicly. And I know it's going to be, you know, the hardest for most people to look because of the people that are involved are people that, you know, inversely, they've made the celebrities, the biggest of the big, the Queen, the presidents, whatever. But I got this, I'll send it to you. I got what I believe is the actual indictment against George H.W. Bush that led to his execution, in my opinion. If you know, we'll find out. But basically, it is as bad as you could possibly imagine. If that's the actual indictment, and I mean, it's legal speak. It's this thick. There's somebody sent it to me that I do trust and was like, "Do you think this is the real thing?" And I read it, and yeah, I do, and it's all in there.
I mean, every time I think of him, I was actually doing comedy in Birmingham in England, driving in a minibus on the way back to Manchester, and the Iraq War kicked off.
Right.
And I just remember listening to George Bush on the radio and the chills that I was getting. And when he says "New World Order," when he says that, oh, I hated him so much.
I know. Well, this document that I have, it's not only was he the one who had JFK murdered, but also he was trying to murder Reagan the whole time. More than once did they try to kill him.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of evidence that after Reagan came back, I don't know what happened in the hospital, but that he never was in control.
No.
Right.
No.
He was never. It was always Bush.
Yeah.
And
but I always got confused with Reagan because I know loads of Americans thought he was a phenomenal president and they loved him, and I wasn't living. You know, I think I visited America when he was president, right towards the end. But you know, I knew Bush. You know, Bush was there trying to control him and kill him. I've known that for many years. But there's these photos of Reagan with Nixon at Bohemian Grove.
I know.
And I'm like, I've always found that difficult to try to equate. I mean,
me too.
Then again, there's levels of entry. Maybe you go there for a couple of days for dinners, and then you go off, and then they carry on with the human hunting parties and putting kids in teddy bear outfits and sacrificing them to a fucking giant owl. I mean, and then it gets even more confusing because you got people like Alex Jones, who did that great Bohemian Grove 20 years ago when he broke in. How did he get in? What was the point of that? What were they doing? It's so confusing for people.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I get loads of people, you know, I spend most of my day answering emails from people, like hundreds of emails every day. And if you are confused, if you're still looking, you know, because I keep talking about the same thing, everybody's looking for intel. Very, you know, nobody knows what's really happening apart from the guys that are doing it. And you should really it's all about going inside and relaxing and finding this is your time to find out who you are. So turn off the TV, stop drinking the aspartame, take care of yourself, eat some good food, hug everybody that you can, pet your cat. All these basic things that make us human that have been taken away from us. I mean, I went to my favorite coffee place yesterday. All the cafes are shut, all the restaurants are shut, but there was one little guy with a trailer who sells coffee on the side of the road. So I drove down there, and he makes amazing coffee. And I went there, and we've always had good chats. And he's a young guy, and I'm always encouraged him because there's not a lot of enterprise happens in this country, and I'm a big fan of entrepreneurship and enterprise. So I've always bigged him up and blah blah blah. So I'm stood there, and he goes, "Mark, how are you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Can I get the oat milk cappuccino?" He said, "Oh, your usual, yeah." And then he said, "Mark, do you mind? Could you put a mask on because?" And he points to the sign. And it was like, you ever seen that Donald Sutherland version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1970s?
Yes.
And it's like when they point at each other like this, they go,
right, exactly.
And I was like, not you too, please, no. So I said, right, I'm going to stand 3 feet to the side and you can pass it to him. I'm outside and he's telling me to wear a mask. And he's got a perspex screen, a mask, and he's telling me to wear a mask and I'm outside. And I'm like, this is why, Hugh, Donald, please end this soon. I've had enough. I've had enough.
They have to expose I mean, it's slowly, but we put together data points earlier to prove that, everything that they told us now after this election is wrong, as we've known the whole time. But now people are they're so into it. They're so brainwashed, filled with fear. It's so horrible. And then he puts back this faux president puts back in Fauci, who's, as far as I'm concerned, a complete criminal, crimes against humanity.
God, mass murdering Nazi, son of Mother Teresa, the other,
exactly,
the monster that they've sainted because she was a child trafficker.
I know. Now, exactly, it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's totally, absolutely true.
It is true,
and easy to figure out if you look at where all the tragedies happen. And she showed up, hello. But at
it's such a small club, really. It's a small club.
That's what I always say. It's like max 3,000 people.
Yeah. George Carlin said it's a big club and you're not in it. But actually, it's quite a small club. It's a small club, but with lots of minions, right? So lots and lots of blackmail people who have been paid too much, people who are in fear of losing their own life. I'm hoping lots of them flipped. I'm
sure. Well, that's what's going on, I hear, with the election stuff, that all this time that we think nothing's going on, they're picking up the low-level people.
Yeah, because I bet those low-level people didn't even know what treason was.
Right.
I bet they were just like, yeah, I hate Trump and I'll take $100. Yeah, I'll do that. That's treason.
And don't forget who trained a lot of them. Obama and LeBron James put together the entire, because it's all these NBA stadiums that decided to allow voting. That was LeBron James and Obama put together their little army of vote watchers and vote counters. And, they're picking up the low level people and saying, OK, where's your paycheck from? Which is also happening. I hear from good intel that they have them cold on the January 6th. They trace the money back to George Soros' son and this Democrat, this liberal lawyers guild, progressive lawyers guild. And this was bought and paid for and planned. And it was planned to counter Trump. And they have footage. They have everything. They know that Pelosi, McConnell, Schumer knew about it before. Thus, the impeachment of Trump inciting a riot that was planned. And they're still doing it. They're still going forward with it when they know that the military knows. Right, exactly.
These people are stupid.
Right.
I mean, anybody watching this that still thinks Obama was a good guy, just go and do a bit of research. This is a guy who spent $70,000 on hot dogs.
Right.
Right, delivered to the White House.
Hey, we haven't even heard about Maggie yet, and some of the other stuff, and and we will. He's the problem is that people just they don't want to leave this feeling that they're so brainwashed that
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
It's totally Stockholm syndrome.
But Obama's crimes are so deep in. Not just that. He's a full-on Muslim Brotherhood. He infiltrated the entire world with this. His grandfather, his mother, they're all tied to the CIA. It was such an ugly period, and people still look at it with Obama, and I think, nobody has been more.
A few gags. I mean,
he got photographed holding a book that was like the post-America world and all this stuff, and still people still can't see that the UN has always been and will always be and was put there by the Rockefellers and all these other people as the hub to push the New World Order on the world and America. The UN to me is the most disgusting of them all, needs to be abolished.
That building is probably around the corner from you, right?
Yeah, yes, it is. It's 5 blocks away, and when I walk by, I just feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah, it's like when I walk through London.
Right. Exactly. It's the same. I'm telling you.
I remember taking my son to London for the first time when he was about 9. Right. We're in an open top car, and he asked me what Big Ben was, and most parents would say, "Oh, it's a big clock." I said, "That is an instrument of your enslavement." Right there.
Yeah, truer than true. Truer than true. Well, that's a good father. I actually went to England for the first time when I was around 7 or 8. And I remember we went to the museum of, now I look back and I think, why would we go there? We went to the museum of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. Why would you want
his house?
Why would you want to do that? Was that great?
I remember it like clear as day.
Yeah, we want to open a museum. Let's do something to educate people about something really. Yeah, what that guy that murdered all those? Yeah, that's great. Let's do that.
It turns out it's probably a royal.
Yeah, because he was. Well, that's it. Hidden in plain sight. That's
right, exactly.
That's what they do.
And what I hear though, on the good news side.
Oh, good. You've got good news.
A little good news. What I hear though on the good news side, and I'm trying to confirm it, but I'll tell you, is that 3 patents have been declassified and will be released, and all 3 of them seem to have something to do with free energy. They're the anti-gravity patent, TR3B. They're the 0.3 energy device and room temperature superconverter.
Is that the same? Are they the same ones that were released by the US Navy a couple of years ago that made it into the papers?
Right, exactly. It didn't make it into the papers. So these have been released, which says to me that what we've been hearing about that part of the plan is in motion, and that these patents are being acted on as we speak to end the control over us that is energy. So if that's happening, that's another sign that things are getting done behind the scenes that we don't know about, and that is being done by the Space Force apparently now.
Yeah.
So when I saw that come back into play in some of my research, I was like, oh, okay. So this is happening. This is going on. And then that they're releasing a whole bunch of other patents. This patent thing has been another form of slavery, a way to enslave humans. Again, the med bed thing and all that, but it's really exciting to have seen these patents out there again, and that they're actually working on doing this on a scale that they can be distributed. Because we don't hear much about that because nobody's reporting it. But I thought that when I saw that the other day in a deep dive article that I found somewhere in the Navy, in the government AI, I was going through DARPA just trying to figure out what's going on, because I believe DARPA has been running Facebook and Twitter and Google and all that.
100%. I did a Facebook post saying, I was like, dear Facebook, it's not you, it's me. It's just that
I saw that.
You don't seem to have got over your relationship with your former partner, DARPA. And
I saw that. Yeah, because I found also Facebook has been giving, without saying that it's in their contract or whatever that you sign, has been giving the FBI files on anyone that they want for years. And I don't think people are aware of that. That was in the paper the other day. Why is Facebook, without informing you, giving over your entire Facebook profile to the FBI or the CIA if asked without, your consent? Well, then they'll finagle that it's somewhere in their disclosures. No, it's not. Nobody would agree to that. It's just, and it's that's coming to a head too. Also, the In-Q-Tel really needs to be, the whole CIA is going to be dismantled.
I think it's all good things are coming. There's no question.
I agree.
It's going to be incredible.
A drop, because when I got the HW indictment, and I was like, I don't know, and then I read through it, everything's in there. I mean, the child trafficking, cocaine everything, guns, all crimes against humanity, and one after another, 9/11, everything. And I'm this close to convinced that this is the real deal. I'll send it to you and you'll let me know what you think. But
I'd love to see it.
But it makes sense, and this would make everything make sense from the beginning of the CIA, which was really created from the OSS, and now we call it communism in America. But communism at the end of the day is satanic and evil, and everyone that's tried it has been has followed this Luciferian one world order thing. And right now, I just think it's too much in your face. For the first time ever, there's people like us out there being like, hold on, this is not good. This is not what they're saying is not real. Davos.
The problem with people like us is that people will watch us and just go, they're fucking lunatics. I mean, I've got trolls saying all sorts of things about me, right? All sorts of things. And it's like, do you know what? Fuck them, right?
I know.
And I thought this would be about waking people up, but it really isn't. What we're doing is kind of just making the people who are already awake know everything's fine. The ones that are not awake, I think this plan is that's what this plan's all about. Is just that because we can't do that as individuals. I think they've got to see this on a big scale, and it is going to be biblical. And I still don't know exactly what that means, but I do know it's going to be massively brilliant. Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have killed myself 2 years ago.
Me too. Right? I was there at the same time.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I was like, this world is shit. I don't want to be here. And then somebody tapped on my head and said, "You're not finished yet.
Right.
You've got a few more things to do." And I was like, okay. I trusted him. I trusted her, whatever. I trusted it.
For me, after I made it past that period, it changed my whole thinking into, well, what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose?
Because you have to get rid of the fear.
Right. What do I have to lose? And Davos started yesterday. Davos, the demon club, and they're pushing their great reset, and with the flowery language, and
it's all theatre though, Mel, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll own nothing and love it.
We're going to take everything away from you, and you're going to have a great time. Okay, where do I sign? I mean, I've still got friends on Facebook saying, "Oh, when this vaccine comes out, I'm first in the queue." I'm like, have you been reading my page?
Oh my God.
What? I must have put up 10,000 posts about vaccines in the last 10 years. And they're still, where do I sign?
It's so crazy. It's all based on fear.
My brother's going to probably do it. And I can't even
That's so sad,
brother,
that story about your brother.
He defriended me on Facebook 5 years ago because he didn't know what I was talking about. And then he refriended me when I said, "Why'd you defriend me? I'm your brother." He said, "Okay, but he just ignores everything that I say. And he's my own brother." What can you do?
That story about your mother and going there, I bet you that's happening to millions of families.
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know this is happening all over the world. And, you're not alone. It's happening everywhere. It's everywhere. Right. And that's the really, really hard part about this. That's why it's the policy of taking off a pair of really, 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 really tight shoes.
That's a great policy.
I like it.
Trump's so smart.
Well, it's really painful, but then it's really good.
Right. Right. I've been there when I got home and I wore tight shoes.
How good is that? Taking them off was like. But if you hadn't had them tight shoes on, you wouldn't have felt. So it's like
relief, right?
This is where we are. That's how addiction works, by the way. Cigarette addiction, alcohol, all addiction is the equivalent of tight. If you didn't tighten the shoes up in the first place, you wouldn't have needed the relief.
Right.
So it's a self-perpetuating thing.
Exactly.
And I think the human race is addicted to the system, this toxic system. It's an addiction. Right. That's how they've done it.
Yeah, and we've been convinced that we can't govern ourselves, which is not true. That's what's supposed to happen. The governments are supposed to be doing certain things, but not controlling our lives. And we've just allowed them in and in. What really should have happened here, if we were following any kind of Bill of Rights or constitutional law or any of that, was they found out about the virus, they inform the public, and the public takes it from there. This is not how this is unprecedented what they did here. And that's another point in making the point of, was this about a virus or was this about an election and pushing for their 16-year plan, one world order? Because since when are they allowed to do this? 15 days to stop the spread was like, okay. But after that, it became complete control and against the law, if you ask me. There are courts that are around the world right now that are looking at cases that this was, a vast crime against humanity, which I believe it was on every level.
Absolutely.
So
Nuremberg too. Right,
I know. Well, that was set up 2 years ago by Pompeo, and people don't realize it. And it's there's 7 nations involved. It started really back at the G7 in where Trump invited Putin, and they were all pissed. That was really, I believe, when it all started, when they all sat down and they saw everything that was going on. Trump showed them everything, and they decided to align to take down the central bankers for once and for all, and these demons. But it's coming soon.
Mel, do you think the EBS is going to happen soon?
I hope so. I mean, the problem is that we keep hoping for it and thinking it's coming. I do think the blackouts in the last, not that just the blackouts, the internet going down here yesterday for like 45 minutes. It was very strange, and it was just along the eastern seaboard, so it was targeted. and it was at the top levels. This was not low level. This was Amazon went down, Verizon, I think one of Apple's networks. So yeah, I'm hoping so, but it's the only way. It has to happen. It's the only way.
I can't think of any other way. Can you?
No way. No. I mean, the minute it does, I mean, I'm going to be the happiest. I'm going to be jumping up and down, so excited. I'll be come on.
And you know, I'm really excited. We're going to learn stuff that we don't know.
I know. You know, there's going to be, yeah. And on the other side, for all that we've gone through with the censorship and the trolls and all of that, you know, there's going to be a whole new world for everyone, including us, because I look forward to the next phase of actually bringing the healing and bringing the, you know, putting it back together and putting, you know, and the positive side of this. Because, you know, I know me and you and everyone we have such an awesome group of people that surround us and support us and are doing the same thing for the good, right reason, for God and country and, you know, to fight for the kids and freedom. And but on the other side, it's going to be a whole new world for all of us. And that's why, you know, I stick in, because you're sticking in, and because Charlie's sticking in, and because Alp is sticking in. You know, it's just as a group, we've been very blessed, because there's a lot of people out there on their own. And, you know, I just feel like all of our energy together is really going to be helpful on the other side in a totally different way. So I so look forward to that too. Well, I can't wait till we get there, because there's so much fun we can have.
I've cheered myself up, not joking, by watching Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, right? Last week, because Tolkien said in an interview in Amsterdam in 1957 that was all based on a true history of Earth. And if you watch Lord of the Rings and you really connect with the Fellowship of the Ring,
right,
they're up against Sauron, right? It's Saturn, it's the towers, it's the eye, it's all there, and it's this evil force that takes over, and that's just the odds are against them. Right. At the top of the mountain. Come on, Mr. Frodo. It's the Shire. Think about the Shire, Mr. Frodo. And he does it. And it's like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
We're still here. And yeah. And then, you know, we're going to all get back to our creative work and collaborate. And it's just, and people are going to have a shot at everything that they ever wanted, and they don't even realize it yet. But it's coming. I mean, every single day that this Biden's out there is another day of more people being like, what? Wait, what?
What?
You know, like,
what was that? You squeezed me? Baking powder? Yeah, I just signed a blank piece of what?
Right. Salute the Marines.
Well, I've got one of Biden's executive orders here. Do you want to see it? Look, there it is.
Yes.
No, he's signed this one. Look, he signed it. Look, there you go.
Oh, good. Thank God. Oh, yeah. It's such a show. It's such a show. We didn't even talk about how Hillary shrunk ahead.
Oh, yeah, she's shrunk and everything. She's amazing.
Anyway, we're watching a movie, and I love being with you. I will see you hopefully next week. We'll do it again.
Anytime.
And there'll be a million more things there. I'm going to send you some stuff to look at. You tell me.
Oh, yeah. Do it. All right.
And I will see you soon.
Lovely to see you again. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.